Yesterday I managed to play The Crew 2, and oh my lord, was it one of the coolest things I've ever played. I'm not even joking here. The Crew 2, as you know, I was a massive advocate for the first game because it tried something new and different, and this game is taking it a step further and trying something absolutely insane, in where you can switch between the type of vehicle you want, literally on the fly. In the free roam session, we got a few free roam sessions in there, thanks to the guys. They knew I was. I got a picture of Fergus, if you saw that on the Twitters. I retweeted it. It's so awesome to meet the team, and everybody knew me. We all discussed like different aspects of the game, and it was so awesome to just be able to do that. But one of my favorite aspects of the game straight out of the bat is the switching between different modes. So we got, yeah, obviously sea, land, and air. So you can switch between them on the fly. Doesn't matter what you switch to, it's going to switch to it. So if you're in a plane above the water, you can switch to a boat and it will just drop in. If you can do the same for a plane and a car. You could be flying the head down, switch to a car, and like float straight onto the floor and fly as a car. It's just so awesome. You can be like, oh, my friend here, for example, I'm racing him just in free roam for the fun of it, like a lot of people do. And you'll be driving along, and there's like a big mountain coming up. The person in the car decides, you know what, I'm going to drive around the road. I'm going to switch to a plane and fly over it. Yeah, try and beat that, and then switch to a car and go back to normal. It's so, well, it just works so well. Such like a, honestly, you'd think it's kind of a small thing, but it makes, it's pretty much like one of the biggest features of the game. It massively changes the experience of the game. So along with adding planes, a lot of people may not want to try planes and that kind of thing, and I want to make it clear that you don't have to try everything. You really don't. You can play the whole game. I'm pretty sure in the intro they'll have it so you try the cars, the planes, and the boats, that kind of thing. But after that, I don't think you would have to, like, from what they said, you do not have to actually try any of the other aspects. If you want to just do street racing, you can do that. If you want to just do racing in general, because it's not just street racing, there's obviously there's pro racing, and where there's track racing now added to the game, which is, I can't wait to try. I mean, we didn't get to actually play most of it. There's so many things we didn't get to try because they don't want to release everything at once, and they don't obviously have everything finished for now, so they don't want to particularly show everything. But from what they've shown already, there's so much more content added into this game. It's absolutely unbelievable. That's what I'm liking about my two top racing games this year, which is Need for Speed and The Crew. They've massively overdone what we were expecting. We expected like some bits, but we got a whole lot more. Anyway, jumping straight back into it. So, as I said, you can do the whole game just by doing street racing if you want to, or if you're only interested in planes, you only have to do planes if you want to. You can specifically go to what you want, or you can do all of them. Totally up to you. And having that freedom is something that Fergus, or the team in general, have wanted to push for ages. You don't have to do everything, but the option is there, and they're one of the only developers that actually keep doing this kind of thing, which is awesome. So I actually got to play with some of the developers as well during this, so you'll see a couple of developers actually playing in my sessions, which was awesome as well. Now, the map is not finished in the slightest, very much not finished in the slightest, but a lot of people are confused as to what's going on with it. Is it the same? No, it's very different. They've completely done it all up again, like from like what they wanted. You know, they've made it so that even the cities, like they've chosen, the cities they've chosen to keep or to add or whatever, they've been converted and changed and added more detail and all this kind of stuff, so they fit the game more. Like, for example, in street races, there's so many more shortcuts and so many more jumps and that kind of thing. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, pretty much 90% of the places now, if you're in a plane and you drop from the sky, which I did, you'll land in an area which you can drive out of. Which, small thing, I know, but yeah. Okay, now, can't talk much about one of the progression ideas in the game, but they showed me the street racing progression, because they know me. They had to show me the street racing progression area of the game, and oh my god, it really makes me feel like Midnight Club. It makes me feel like Pro Street. It makes me feel like classic Need for Speed. They've definitely gone for it, and each different aspect, each different area of the game, so planes, cars, whatever, will have their own kind of progression storyline to do if you want to do it. This is what games are about. Freedom of choice. Having so much stuff in there that you could play the game throughout as a street racer and then go, you know what? I want to play more of The Crew. There's boats. And then you do the whole thing again with boats, but it's completely different. It's a completely different game. Like, the fact that they're building this absolutely amazing world. Now, I'm just watching this footage here that I'm not actually able to show you, but there's headquarters for each individual faction, and the street racing one that we got to see. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see it. You're gonna get so many vibes from so many other games. It's all right. Let's just back away from that a little second. So it's not how it was before we had an underground garage like HQ. It's a proper HQ where everybody that finally likes that kind of likes that faction, wants to do that faction, is there. Buying cars is still a thing. You know, upgrading cars is still a thing. We didn't see any performance upgrades. A lot of people were, you know, a small amount of people were worried that you didn't see any performance upgrades. They have mentioned performance upgrades are coming, but they didn't publicly like show it in the gameplay. There weren't really any modifications on the cars or anything. So I can understand why people get confused by that, but I can confirm modifications are going to be in the game. We're going to see them before launch, because obviously they want to do a social push over time. That's how these games work. They want to keep it. They don't want to release everything at once, because it's already overwhelming, the fact that I can't explain everything in one video. So we're here again today, friends, talking about more of it. So let's continue with it. Now, everybody knows that in the last game they added drift spec and all that kind of thing. Well, those are returning. Don't worry, you're still going to be able to drift. Every type of physics has been overhauled in this game, I promise you. Like, every type of physics that you can think of is being overhauled. So, for example, the actual drifting physics, I got to play around with those. Those have been overhauled. Can't show you those, but I can tell you they have been overhauled completely. It feels so much better. I can't really compare to anything else, but it feels more like it switches to the drifting mode like it did in the previous game as a specific drifting mode. And then you have the normal driving physics, which I need to talk about. I haven't spoken about the normal driving physics yet, but the normal driving physics, again, have been overhauled. Honestly, when I first saw them, they looked pretty similar. I was completely wrong. Like, I was nerding out playing this. I was absolutely nerding out. If you actually look at how the cars move and the tire physics, watch the tires when the cars turn. It's absolutely, especially the off-roading vehicle when I get to that clip. Oh my lord. Now, I've got to talk about one thing very quickly. I'll jump back to handling in a second, but one thing I had to try is, like, can you land a plane? Can you stop still? That's something we've got to try, right? I had to give it a go. You can land a plane. You just land in the middle of the road and you can take off again. If you want to do that, you can. I mean, there's so many things I want to try. So many amazing ideas I have for videos. And as you guys know, the crew was like my baby. This is just next level knobheads content coming out for days, weeks, and years. You know for a fact that there's so much content in this alone. And you know that they're going to release expansions in the future, because they released an amazing expansion, Wild Run, in the last time. So there's so much I want to do in this. Like, I've got a list of ideas of like things I want to do, like videos with Matthew, that kind of thing. So many ideas. This is one of my favorite games of the year. This and Need for Speed, oh my god, they have over-delivered what I expected. Like, I finally got to experience two like completely different things that a lot of people haven't seen in these two games, and both of those, like, a lot of people were confused that maybe they're very similar games, but they're honestly like their own identity, like completely like separate. You have to try them both. Like, both of them have improved tenfold, massively, and they know they're gunning for Forza. I tell you, that's what these two guys are doing. They're gunning for Forza. But back on track. So the physics, we spoke about the cars. The cars feel amazing. The cars feel much more weighty. They feel much more heavy. You can understeer now, so it's not too easy. Because after the Wild Run updates, the handling did seem a little bit easier. Well, they fixed that. The sounds, so much better. The sounds have just been improved like a million times over. Incredible sounds. Like, I wouldn't say to the level of like amazing classic, you know, even most one in 2012. Like, Need for Speeds have always had amazing, because sound is just something they will always kind of strive for. But I've got to say they're getting pretty close with the crew. It completely like overhauls everything. It makes the sound just, you need good sound to be able to completely, you know, understand how to drive a car, like when to change gear, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's the handling of those cars. The cars, perfect. Like, the graphics, completely changed. Like, it's the lighting mostly. The lighting looks amazing. The way it like wraps around trees and the grass and everything. I mentioned that in the previous video, but I've got to mention it again. It's beautiful. Now, let's jump onto the boats. So, boat handling. Now, they kind of handle as you would expect. They handle pretty well. They're a little bit floaty. One of the coolest aspects about boats is that when you actually follow other players and they make the streams of water behind them because of the propellers, those waves can actually knock you off course. If you try and ride them, they're going to mess you up and you're going to go all over the place. And it's awesome that that's the thing. Every single vehicle has nitrous, so that's a cool feeling. Planes nitrous feels a little bit like not there, but you can upgrade them. I don't know what level of the vehicles were that we were driving, but you can use NOS on every single type of vehicle. As for the planes, they again handle as you would imagine. They handle like pretty much as good as GTA does. Anyone could pick up GTA's planes and fly them. I mean, I'd say it's a little bit easier than that for those that want to, but the depth is there for those that want to like learn more. You can do proper tricks and that kind of thing. I was very noobish at this. Like, you can fly under bridges, between buildings. They've removed like so many barriers and that kind of thing, so you can actually have a proper open world. Like, they've massively, like, in the last game, it was pretty much if you saw it, you could drive to it. There were some barriers like between buildings, that kind of thing. They've got rid of most of those. Because obviously if you're in a plane and you drop out of the sky, you need a way to get back onto the road. They've removed the majority of the barriers and it feels awesome. Like, you have no idea. Like, it's one of those, you have to play it to completely get the idea of how this is all working. There's so much to talk about. So much I haven't even touched upon yet. Which is a shame because I don't know. Crash cameras, I didn't see many of them. I hit a car head on quite fast and nothing really happened. But yeah, as said, the Crew 2, there's going to be a lot of content over the coming weeks and months because they're going to be releasing so much more information about this game. This has been a brilliant E3/EA play. Let me know your top games. I know I asked you in Forza, but not many people really watched the Forza video, so yeah. But let me know your top picks from this E3 racing game or non-racing game. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.